guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Finnish National Anthem Maamme, I don't know, from a channel called Blue Marble Nation, so check it out. No idea, obviously that's the title, Mom, no idea what it is, but hopefully we're going to know what it is, by the end of this video. So let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe. Oh, it's our land.
Oi maamme Suomi synnyin maa, soi sana kultainen. Ei latsoa, ei kukku.
Okay, I love it already. It's quiet. I love the choir. There's no valley, no mountain, no lake, or no shore, more deer. So this is all sort of loving, the country. Is it gonna make me cry?
Ei vettä rantaa rakkaampaa, kuin kotimaa tää pohjoinen, joina kaunisiin.
I'm tearing up.
Ei latsoa, ei kukkula, ei vettä rantaa rakkaampaa, kuin kotimaa tää pohjoinen, joina
And there's the choir, sort of the call and response, and they have the background, or they're singing sort of in the background. I love this.
Sun kukoistukses kuorestaan kerrankin puhkeaa. Mielentemme saa nousemaan, sun toivos riemus loistossaan. Ja kerran laulus syntyy
We'll sound louder.
korkeimman kaiun saa. Mielemme saa nousemaan, sun toivos riemus loistossaan. Ja kerran laulus syntyy korkeimman kaiun saa.
Wow, I love this. This is no joke, one of the most, I think, beautiful anthems that I've ever heard. I loved it. I love it. It was the combination of the instrumental sort of thing. It was just sort of this choir. I really love it. I seriously think this is one of the most beautiful anthems that I've ever heard in my life. I love it. It's just I think it's very simple. I love how simplistic it is. Because some anthems I think are a little bit more, I don't know, they tend to sound more epic, which obviously is really nice because they have a lot of, I don't know, like this orchestra, and they sound very epic, and the lyrics are very, we'll go and we'll fight and we'll remain and all of that, which I think is very nice. But in this case, oh my God, no, I just love this one. I prefer this one. It's just very, very beautiful because it's more about, I don't know, it's a combination of the choir. I love the choir, the whole thing of, I don't know how they call this in a choir, but then, you can hear the baritone voices. I think they're the baritones, the ones that are very, very, very deep, the ones that are very low. They're sort of repeating the words that the rest of the choir said, but it's just, I don't know, it's just sort of a backup singer, but they're not technically backup singers because this is a choir, so I don't really know how to call them. But I love that part. It's just so incredibly beautiful. It just sounds so nice. It's a very emotional anthem. I think, again, I was about to cry, and I don't know, I can't even imagine being Finnish and just listening to this. Finns have, I don't know, they have the most beautiful anthem ever. How do they not cry every time they listen to this at, I don't know, at a sporting event, or I don't know, at any type of event that when anthems are played? I do not know how they can control themselves. I would be crying. I would be in tears every time I listen to this. This is very beautiful because, again, it's just about the nation, because it's not, and again, some anthems are, about how much we endure, or how much, we had to fight to, I don't know, gain, our independence. But, they're not clearly telling you this. It's just, if you read between the lines, it's, all the fighting that we had to do, or to become a republic, or all the things we had to do to, break the chains. And, we are the land because we are the free. Something like that, paraphrasing, obviously. But I think a lot of the anthems that I've heard are a little bit like that, or just, we've been defeated a bunch of times, but we're still here, we're still will remain. But it's all about, sort of a bellic situation. It's constantly about fightings and wars, and just maybe not violence, because it's not really that, but it's a little bit, if you actually set your mind and you actually think about this, they're quite violent, because they're all talking about fighting or enduring, and it's obviously through wars and through battles, because they had to. Obviously, it's their story and it is their history, and again, you can't really, you can't change that, because obviously it's the country's history. But in this case, I like that what they're sort of highlighting. It's not, the fighting that, that occurred, or, how we were a bunch of people that had to band together or join together and form this nation. It's more about, how beautiful, how beautiful this is. It's talking about the fatherland, which of course is, it's the country, but it's our land, and it's our land. And it's sort of, we'll sing loudly. We will sing loudly, because it's our country. Well, they're not technically talking about a country. It's more about the land. And I just think when they're talking, and you're talking about the land itself, and not the nation, it's just about the land, and you're talking about all these mountains and all the lakes and everything that, everything sort of the light touches, very poetic, but sort of like that. It's just, it's very beautiful, and it's all mine. And I think that's just sometimes I think in this case, maybe not, whatever. It just is, I think this can apply to anyone, or to any place in the world. It's sometimes some places are beautiful, or they are, and whoever, it's all in the eye of the beholder. But I think sometimes you actually like things, and you feel, your mountains are the most beautiful mountains because they're yours, basically, because you live there, and because you feel them as if you belong to them and they belong to you. I'm already tearing up, because it's that sentiment. It's the whole thing of, yes, those valleys, those mountains, maybe they're not beautiful to everyone, because maybe they don't really hold the same meaning that they hold to someone that's a foreigner. But to you feel as if they belong to you. And because they belong to you, they're going to be the most beautiful mountains. They're going to be the most beautiful lakes, the most beautiful valleys. It's just because you belong to them, and you feel as they belong to you as much as you belong to them, because it's your land. So this is really about that. It's just, it's our land. There's no land that I hold, more near to my heart, because it's mine. So, and they're not really saying this in those words, as in, it's mine. But it's mine in the sense of, you belong to this place, and this place belongs to you as much as anyone, and it belongs to anyone that's obviously that is from that place. So it's just very, I don't know, it just makes me very emotional, because it is a very emotional anthem. And it's just, this precious land, the lands, they are talking about the forefathers, or the fathers. Technically I think it was just the fathers. But yeah, so I think that obviously involves in everything, all the people that had to, again, that's where it gets the whole, this nation didn't happen, overnight. No one sort of decided, yeah, sure, we're creating a nation. All countries have their history, and all countries, it's very violent, as I was mentioning. I think all countries have this, even the most peaceful of countries. They're going to have this, because, that's basically humans, throughout their history. Yes, there's going to be fighting, there's going to be war, but they're not really highlighting this, which I like. Is just sort of honoring them, because they made possible that we can call this land our land thanks to them. Obviously, again, I don't really know the history of Finland, but I know that it's like that because each country and each nation, that's obviously the case. Someone had to come and they had to fight and they had to do all these things to actually make it, even just, sometimes you don't really get your independence from anyone, but there were a bunch of groups of people that had to band together, and a bunch of kingdoms that have to join together and create, this territory and this nation. I think that's mostly the case. I don't know if all throughout Europe, but a bunch of countries in Europe, that's really how it went. So I would imagine Finland, it was something similar. But again, I just really like the fact that they're not technically sort of highlighting how many epic battles we've had. It's more about the actual place, the land, the nature, the places that are here. And places with places, I don't mean towns. I mean the actual land, basically. The land, the mountains, the actual land, the valleys, everything that was here, all the plains, all the, they don't have savannas, but whatever it is that they have over there. It's just, again, the actual land is what is there. It's what, has been here for 1,000 years. It's going to remain for 1,000 years long after we're gone. That's going to be what's going to be here. So this is what we hold dear to us because it's what remains sort of unchanged. And unchanged, I know nature is constantly changing. It can change, it's obviously, everything's in constant development. It's in constant sort of evolution. But the actual place, it's there. Those mountains have been here for thousands of years. They'll be here for a bunch of more years, millions of years. When you're talking about this scale and sort of historically, it's just very, I don't know, it's just quite emotional. It makes me want to tear up. It makes me want to cry because again, it is a very emotional thing. I think once you're getting into the whole sort of this land and the land that you're sort of, that you live your life and whatever, it's not just the actual country as in, oh, this is a city or this is whatever. No, because those things can be torn apart. You can destroy them. They can, I don't know, whatever it is. Everything that I think man can build, it can easily be torn apart. It can easily be destroyed. But, the land itself, that's what's going to remain. And that's what's actually yours. And that's what you should cherish. And that's, the sort of the nature part of whatever it is. Because I think all countries obviously all countries have this. So it's just very, yes, it's about, again, it's about it being yours. And I love the fact when they say like one day, it was going to blossom. Everything starts like that, right? Everything starts from a little seed, a little bud, and everything's going to blossom, as in better times will come. I really like that because it's quite hopeful as well. As in, yes, sometimes maybe, you're going to go through hard times or whatever, but, the little bud's gonna be there and someday it's going to bloom and then, we can all sing this song together and, it's gonna be our hope and it's gonna be our joy. It's gonna be this joyful time. And I like it because it just sends a peaceful message and a hopeful message that, oh yeah, at last, once, the bloom has blossomed, we are going to be able to, everyone can be able to sing along and, sing to this land. And I don't know, I just really like it. I really love it. And, it's our love is going to be that they said something about our love is going to be aroused or something, which, yes, again, it's very lovely and it's going to be aroused. This blossom is going to bloom because of our joy and our hope. And we, the people that actually are a part of this nation, we're going to make it so. So I don't know. It's just, I loved it. And yes, absolutely one of my, I don't know, probably my favorite anthem I've ever heard. I don't know. I just think it's beautiful and I love the sentiment and I love the singing and I love sort of the message. It's just a beautiful, beautiful anthem. But that was it for today and I'll see you next time. Bye.